Hey everybody, I'm Clint O'Brien, the President and Chief Operating Officer of Engaging Networks. I am very happy to be the one to welcome you after the dulcet tones of my teammate Corin. I can remember attending my first Engaging Networks community conference in London 15, maybe 16 years ago across the river at a historic Methodist hall across the street from Westminster Cathedral. And we were all a bit younger. I was quite a bit younger back then. Some of the familiar faces I see in the room were younger back then. But the energy of that conference was on a smaller scale, similar to what we feel nowadays at these much bigger conferences. I'm just going to touch on a few highlights that I want to put on your mental radar about things that are happening at Engaging Networks. So who's advanced? I guess I'm advancing the slides. Here we go. First of all, a big thank you to all of our expert speakers. It's tremendous that you would generously give of your hard-won wisdom at a conference like this, and we really appreciate the time and effort that goes into preparing your remarks and being ready to network with our client community. So thank you very much. And actually, I want to echo what Corin said, thanking our sponsors. So Forward and C6 and Care2, thank you very much for helping make this event possible. We really value our partnership with those organizations. And you might be curious, who's here? Lots of organizations are represented in this room. In fact, I'm told this logo slide doesn't even do full justice to everyone that's here. So this is a tremendous group of some of the finest charities in the UK and the international scene. So I'm going to touch on just a few highlights that I want to call to your attention. If I'm jumping ahead. Great. So there's three items, and then we'll move on. One is some security milestones that I think clients should care about. And the second is the online community, which Corin mentioned, which we think is really important. And the third is the topic of artificial intelligence. I imagine you've heard something about artificial intelligence recently. It seems to be taking the world by storm. So first of all, we achieved two really important security milestones recently. One is the PCI DSS Level 1 designation, which is a standard imposed by the credit card industry. And it's super important. We had to do this because over the years, we've now processed $2 billion worth of donations and other transactions. And so we're in the big leagues, thanks to our clients. I think that's something like 1.6 million pounds, 1.7, and it's probably understating the true volume. But the credit card industry requires that at some point you level up your game to the next level of security. And so we're very happy. It took a long time and a lot of effort, but we've attained the PCI Level 1 designation. And the second security standard we achieved recently is SOC 2 Type 2. Here in the UK and in Europe, I think there's a similar standard that's better known. It's called ISO 27001. But in North America, SOC 2 is the better known of the standards. So we started with this one. But again, why should you care? It's because the only way to get third-party verification and achieve these standards is to have a lot of really important security measures in place, which makes us a more stable platform and also a safer place to entrust your data, which is something we take super seriously. And under the hood, so to speak, another really important security milestone that happened last week is we hired our first ever full-time head of security and compliance, a wonderful woman named Tiffany Ramsey, who joined us at mid-year. So we take this super seriously because it's important. And we hope that it gives you extra confidence in the platform that you've entrusted your activities and your data to. Second item is this new online community, which we launched very recently. And Austin, who many of you met outside, he's out in the lobby, is actually our head of community. But it's another way that we're trying to bring out all of the power of the users who become experts in using our tools so that you can interact with us more, but more importantly, I think, is interacting with each other, sharing tips and best practices. And we hope that over time, it'll become a real asset to your experience of using Engaging Networks. as you're able to help each other. And I mean not only our clients, but also our wonderful accredited partners as well, who will make that community a success. So I strongly encourage you, if you haven't already, to enroll in the community and start participating. And then the third item is artificial intelligence. So there is a session later today that our data scientist teammate Gordon Walsh will lead, and I strongly endorse your going there. I also endorse your talking to Marta Fornal, who's might be in the room, but she is the one at the surgery, the client surgery, who can answer even more questions about artificial intelligence. Many of you know we have an R&D arm called Accessible Intelligence that's been working for about 4 years now on how to transform charity fundraising and engagement using artificial intelligence. And they've made tremendous strides. Their website, if you haven't visited it yet, is called accessibleintelligence.io. You can download case studies from there and understand better the methodology they're using, which is quite unique and quite powerful. But here in this platform, Engaging Networks, we are soon to welcome our first ever AI-powered feature, true AI. I call it authentic artificial intelligence as opposed to artificial intelligence, because I think there's a lot of fakery out there right now, but this is the real deal. And it's a new tool called Segments, which will give you a new way alongside the current ways, such as profiles and our query builder, to do segmentation of your audience, giving you actionable insights that are definitely powerful in the context of fundraising, but also for deepening engagement and advocacy campaigning. So I strongly encourage you to learn about the Segments tool that's coming. I know many of you, your first question will be, when can we expect the new optional Segments feature to roll out in the platform? And I suppose it's a bit like the British election. We don't know exactly when it'll be rolling out, but we know it has to be by the end of this year. So welcome to software. It's hard to pin down exactly the deadlines for when we roll out our new feature, but with this one is being worked on furiously by several of our best developers, both back-end and front-end developers. So, and I also want to stress that it's optional because we know some clients are going to tiptoe up to using artificial intelligence in their work, and that's fine. So people who want to continue just availing themselves of profiles and the query builder to do your segmentation, that is absolutely fine. But this will be a new tool in your toolbox. All right, well, that's it. And thanks again, and welcome to our conference.